friends, welcome back to ElfToyz. Today's video is going to be my first ever Halloween special since I started the channel, and today I'm making a special Halloween custom doll, and she's none other than the ghost princess herself, Perona from One Piece. I realized this is my second One Piece doll in a row, but honestly after my last video when I made Shirahoshi, I just knew this was the time. I've always wanted to make One Piece dolls, specifically the pink haired ones, because if you couldn't tell, pink is my favorite hair color. So I thought for my Halloween special, Perona would be a really good choice. So that's what we're making today. So without any further ado, let's begin. So my scary challenge begins with this bootleg Draculaura, and I'm gonna try and see if she can be customized properly. Her hair is really bad quality, but we're gonna get rid of it and try and prep her like I do with any of my other dolls, and just see if it's possible to properly use a fake Monster High for customizing. So now I'm just removing the little bits of hair, and this was actually so much easier. And now we can start by using the acetone to remove her factory face paint. And when I did this, I realized there's a permanent stain on the doll's head, like the rubber is permanently stained. But it's okay, I'm just gonna have to paint the whole body, and for that I'm just gonna sand everything first and then go outside and spray paint it. After sanding and painting, she already looked a lot better, even though I messed up with sanding a little bit somewhere, but it's okay, I can cover this up. Let's just move on to painting her head with a pink acrylic shade, and then I can move on to rerooting the hair. And I'm just gonna take little strands of pastel pink hair, and I'm going to start with the hairline and the middle section because that's where the partings are going to be. As you can see, I've done the middle, and now I'm gonna finish the front, and then I keep rerooting her until the whole head is full. And now she's ready for the face up, and I'm just trying to sketch her eyes because Perona has a very specific eye shape. This actually took me a good while, but once I was happy with the eye shape, I started going in with the pastels to blush her and watercolor pencils to define the eye shape a little bit better. After that, I start painting her lips. She has red lips, but I'm gonna start with pink and then work my way towards the red. Now I'm just painting her eyes with white acrylic before I draw on the irises in grey for now. And then I move on to the lips. And I start building up the colors on her eyes. I do her eyebrows, and I just go layer by layer because we have to seal her with Mr. Super Clear a few times, as always. And layer by layer I start building up the colors until it gets closer and closer to the final effect that I want. And then after that I just use some white acrylic to do the catch lights. Obviously I'm going to do my signature rhinestone for the eye, but first I'm just glossing her eyes and lips, and then I'll apply the rhinestones. After that I just need to cure it with my UV lamp, and the face up is done, and I'm so happy with it. I think this is my favorite face up I've ever done. So now I've decided I'm going to paint her black and white striped leggings onto the doll, because Perona always wears these even with her other outfits. So I'm just going to mask the legs with stripes of tape and then paint it black. And once that's dry, I can peel off the tape, and any areas that might not be completely perfect, I can go over with a little bit of black acrylic or black Posca pen afterwards. So don't worry if you try to do this and the stripes are not completely perfect. It happens sometimes, and then we just go over it with some Posca pen, and you know, it's art, so perfection doesn't exist. We artists just simulate it. And then we can move on to blushing the rest of the body a little bit, just to match the face up. And after that, the doll's body is ready, and I can begin styling the hair. For that, I've already boil washed the front part to make her fringe. She has short fringe. And now I'm just dividing the hair in sections to make her twin tails. And then I cut the fringe a little bit. This is not the final cut of the fringe, but we wanna sort of get it out the way. And then I just use some clear elastics to create the twin tails. Now we can start curling her twin tails, because her twin tails are actually curly. And for that I use a hot curling iron, and then I use my rerooting tool, which is metallic, to cool the curls down and set them. And obviously I use a little bit of a hairspray as well to keep them in place. And that's it pretty much. I'm just gonna do the other one. Just decided to also like blush it a little bit in the roots, and now I'm cutting the fringe a little bit more. Just polishing it up, being a little bit of a perfectionist until I'm happy with how it looks, and then we can move on to making her clothes. I'm going to start by making her red skirt. I just freeformed it onto the body really without using a pattern. I'm gonna regret that later, but you'll see. So now I'm just cutting her petal shapes of her skirt, and immediately I realized that they're way too big. So I attempt at making them smaller, and I do, and then I'm happy with them, so I start painting the flower motifs on them with a white acrylic paint. Once that's done, I'm just gonna glue some Velcro to the back with fabric glue just for the closure, and then I'm going to glue on the belt straps as well. And the skirt is technically done, but I hated it, so I'm gonna start all over again using my half circle skirt pattern instead, and heat sealing everything from the start. And I'm also going to do the belt loops first this time, and I'm going to sew them on instead of gluing them on, because these have to be really sturdy. These have to hold Perona's belt that we're going to make in a little bit, so these have to be really sturdy. So this time around I decided to also sew them by hand before I do anything else. And once I'm happy with the skirt, I can actually freehand the bottom trim this time, because I've done it before, so I was quite confident this time. So I did freehand it and I was happy with it, so I painted it all over again. It took me like 3 layers of acrylic paint to get to the shade of white I wanted. And then I can go on to bedazzle each one of the little flowers on her skirt with a little rhinestone, because she needs a lot of shine and sparkle. She is a princess after all. So that's the skirt, and I'm really happy with it, so we can move on to the top. I've cut out my pattern and some trim, and now I'm going to illustrate the design she's got on her top, because I couldn't find an image of it anywhere. So I'm just designing it, and now I'm gonna print different sizes of it onto light transfer paper, because I don't know which size is the best. try it next to the top and see, and I think the smallest one was actually my best bet here. So I'm gonna heat up my iron and I'm going to iron the transfer paper onto the top. And once this is cooled down, you can peel off the top and I can start sewing the pattern pieces together and adding the trim to create the base of the top. And now we're almost done. I just need to hand stitch it shut. And finally I'm just adding some Velcro to the back and our top is done. Next, I'm making her belt, so I'm using cardboard to make the belt and the heart buckle because we need something thin. EVA was a little bit too much, and then I cover it with golden spandex, and that's why you need something so thin because we are going to cover it. I love gold spandex. I use it in almost all of my dolls and I just love using it for little things. So here's the belt. I'm just painting some details onto it. And now I need to see if it fits, which it does, so I'm quite happy. I can finish the belt buckle and I can move on to bedazzling the belt and the buckle with loads of tiny golden rhinestones. This is such a sparkly, glamorous, fabulous touch and I'm so here for it. I'm loving the amount of rhinestones I'm managing to put onto this doll. And yeah, so next we're going to work on her little cape slash cloak. I'm gonna call it a cape. And I'm just using some trim and hand stitching it around to create the color. And then I'm going to use some white fur for the fur trim, glue it together, and then I hand stitch it to the cloak. And once that's done, I can trim the excess fur to make it a little bit shorter and a little bit more tidy. And then I just add a little bit more white fur to the front trims. And we're almost ready. We just need the pink ribbon for the closure in the front. So I'm just going to quickly hand stitch 2 pieces of ribbon to each side and tie it into a little pretty bow, and our cloak is done. Next we're going to make her iconic red boots. We're going to use some G3 Clio boots as a base. I'm going to sand them into oblivion. And now I'm going to cut some front details on them, like Perona's boots have this sort of slit in the front. We're cutting the slits with a Stanley knife, and then I'm going to go in with red acrylic paint and paint both the boots with a few coats of acrylic paint. And after they're dry, I'm going to use some strips of EVA foam that I've pre-cut and pre-painted before. And once I'm happy with their shape, I'm going to glue them to the boots. And then we're going to paint everything with another few coats of red paint until they look really nice. And now I'm going to make some boot buckles. I've made them out of recycled carton. I primed them white, then I painted them gold and I sealed them with UV resin. And I applied them to the boots, and the boots are now ready, and we can move on to Perona's beautiful crown. For that, I'm just going to use a lid from an oat milk carton and a few bits of poster board sort of paper, like a photographic paper. It's like shiny on one side, and I'm just hot gluing these 4 stripes of paper to the lid. And I glue them all in except for the last one because we need to insert this little black sort of cushiony thing to the inside of the crown. So I'm gonna make that black cushion with some black velvet and some cotton balls. I needed like half a cotton ball for this, and I'm just hot gluing it and then hot glue it all to the inside of the crown. And then we can finally close the crown and glue the last bit of paper onto it. And now I'm just going to use an incense stick and my soldering iron to make sort of a pole that goes through the inside of the crown. And I'm adding another strip of paper to the around of the crown. I don't even know. And then I've made really small strips of EVA foam, and I'm just going to add that around every edge of the paper part of the crown, if that makes any sense. And once that is done, our crown looks really sturdy, so I can start painting it. And I'm just gonna paint all the edges white with white acrylic paint. And once that is done, I can start painting the red parts of the crown with red acrylic paint. And after that, I just add a couple layers of Mod Podge all over the crown, except the velvet bits, of course, just to make it really glossy and sturdy. And after the Mod Podge is fully dry, I can start bedazzling the crown with little rhinestones, and I feel like this step is going to make it so cool, and it was really fun to do. I love bedazzling things. So this is what it looks like after I bedazzle the whole thing. I've also added a little bit more to the top because I was going to make the cross with that, but I actually decided to make it out of black warbler instead. And I'm heating up the warbler with my lighter, as I always do for really small pieces. And I'm just adding that to the little pole I made before, and then just sculpt it a little bit into a cross shape like Perona has, and our crown is ready. I'm just going to make some flowers out of black warbler as well, because she's got some flower sort of hair clip details on her hair. I think she's got like flower hair clips, and they're just black flowers with a white outline, a white rim, a white outline all around it. So that's what I'm making here. I'm just painting the white rims with a Posca pen. And I'm going to now move on to making her iconic Ghost Princess umbrella. For that, I'm using a ball from Mini Brands, and I just covered it with painter's tape, and that's how I got the pattern. Then I traced it onto a bit of milk carton with extra 0.5 centimeter all around for the seam allowances, and then I cut that shape 8 times onto red velvet and 8 times onto a purple satin for the lining. I'm also going to use more milk carton. I was obsessed, I don't know what's wrong with me, with the oat milk carton, but I'm also going to use that and a little bit more of the red velvet to make the little horns, the little like devil / monster horns she's got on the umbrella. And I'm going to heat seal them as well to make them all nice and clean. And now I'm going to move on to the sewing machine for the first time in this video, because I was hand sewing a lot, but now I just need to machine sew every single part, the 16 parts of the pattern, and then I've cut and sealed a few squares of red velvet, and I'm just adding that all around the edge of the umbrella. And now I'm going to hand stitch the entire edge just to make sure everything is very securely in place. After that, and once the lining is also ready, I made a little structure with black warbler, and I'm just drilling a hole through the middle of it for the umbrella's pole, and here I'm just sealing in the warbler to make sure everything is really secure. And I'm just going to add stick glue all over that structure and glue the red velvet fabric onto it to create the umbrella. After the glue is dry, I just need to do the same but with the lining, and then I'm going to fold the edges in so that the lining folds into the red part, and I'm just gluing that in place. And then after that, it should look really clean and neat even from the inside, which means it's time to make the handle pole thing of the umbrella. I'm doing this with a barbecue stick and white warbler just to reinforce the stick, because otherwise it could break potentially, and I want this to be really sturdy. So I'm using some warbler leftovers and a lot of patience. And then I'm going to paint over it, even though I used white warbler, but it looks really dirty, so I'm just going to give it a few coats of white acrylic paint. And while that's drying, I'm going to do the eye details. I'm just going to use the same black velvet and white spandex we've been using for Perona's clothes and crown before, so I just got 2 circles of each, and here I'm just gluing them with the stick glue because I'm scared that other glues will ruin this. So, and the stick glue is like strong enough anyway, so now I'm just going to varnish the handle pole thing with UV resin because that will make it really glossy and really sturdy. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue to the top and inserting the pole onto our umbrella. And now the last thing we need is to make a little tiny horn made of warbler. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a stopper for the pole at the top. And I'm also going to make the handle out of white warbler. This is just warbler scraps that I form into balls using heat. And then I rolled this one onto like a little long rolly thing. And now I'm just making a spiral out of it to create Perona's umbrella handle shape, which is a little spiral. And after I'm happy with the shape, I can paint it red using my acrylic paints again. And after a few coats of red paint, I can just heat up the top of the handle and shape it onto the pole of the umbrella. And then at the end, I'm just going to melt a little bit more of black warbler just to do the little trim rim thing around the handle. And that's it, our umbrella is complete. Right, so our doll is ready and I'm ready to show her to you. So I hope you enjoyed watching the process so far, and if you're still there, thank you so much for staying there until now. I just want to say, as always, thank you so much for all the support, comments, likes everything. I hope to see you on my next video, which might not be another doll. I might do a couple of things before the next doll, so I hope you stay here for that and let me know what you think. Also, let me know what you think of having my desk as my background, which is where I make the dolls. They are crafted on that desk right there. So let me know what you think of the new background. Should I stay with this background? Should I do a different one every once in a while? Let me know what you would like to see on future videos. And then that's it. It's time to show you the final shots of the doll. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And until my next one, happy Halloween! Well.